if you have Kevin Stefanski, who is willing to leave a Pro Bowl quarterback behind to go and coach the Falcons, you got to be in good hands there. So,
dude, just think of that like headline. Coach of the Year leaves Pro Bowl quarterback for
Atlanta
Falcons who can't get into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. The Shedeur Sanders thing to the Pro Bowl, I'm going to just be very honest. I don't care. Like in terms of just like, because there are people who absolutely despise Shedeur Sanders. There's people that absolutely love Shedeur Sanders. I'm like, okay, he's a football quarterback. I want to see more of him if he's going to be a good quarterback. That's the amount that I care about Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
He got into the Pro Bowl, right? And everyone was like, this is the biggest joke ever because his stats were not very good. He only started so many games. And on top of that, there were other quarterbacks that you could look at that have like a positive touchdown to interception ratio and be like, this guy should have been in. But the reason I don't care about it is because the Pro Bowl has been
bastardized.
It's been bad for a long time, especially, and I say this out of love of my heart, like they opened up of like, oh man, if you retweet a certain amount of times, like that's going to give votes to these players and stuff like. So in terms of like their actual football playing ability, the all pro team, like that's usually been the standard of like, okay, because that's your peers and all that great stuff. Right.
But what I do know for one that's unequivocal is Emmanuel Acho delivered the worst take in maybe NFL history.
I've not seen this.
You have not seen it?
I don't know, even know, because I just saw it in the rundown of, so I have no idea what it is.
Let's see here. I actually haven't even listened to him say it. I've just seen
maybe it's not unanimous.
As bad. I've seen unanimous. What the fuck is Emmanuel talking about?
Because any expectation for Shedeur Sanders under Todd Monken, I believe, will lead to disappointment. There is nothing about Todd.
Okay, I think expectations of any Browns quarterback under any head coach will lead to disappointment. So I agree with that part.
It's valid.
Show me the one quarterback who didn't lead to disappointment, he gone.
Monken as a head coach, that should get you excited. As an offensive coordinator, you could say Lamar Jackson had an MVP season under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, Lamar Jackson had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, you can make arguments under Todd Monken.
Okay, yeah, that's all true.
Okay, yeah.
And Stetson Bennett won 2 national championships at Georgia under Todd Monken.
Oh, yeah, Stetson. I forget. That's also
But
true.
as a head coach, no, nothing about Todd Monken as a head man gets me excited. I need to see who the offensive coordinator is going to be.
All of that so far, fine. I could agree with any of that.
That's what I need to see. But what I don't yet see, T, is like, how is Todd Monken going to command that locker room, command that group of men? And also, if I'm Shedeur or anybody in that locker room, why am I listening to Todd Monken? What if you won on an NFL level as a head coach? You're not even a head coach on an NFL level. So
anybody can have a take. Emmanuel Acho is a great example of how literally anybody can do this. Anybody can do it.
Okay,
you can say whatever you want.
Here's the thing. I'm going to...
Sometimes, even when I intentionally say something stupid, Tom, like I'm really trying to be dumb.
Yeah.
I don't think I have ever gotten to that level. I don't think I have.
I don't think you have either.
Why should anybody in that locker room listen to what their new head coach has to say?
Is that... I don't know what that platform is. Like, is it Speakeasy? I don't know. Is that a new show?
That's his YouTube channel and his brand now.
Got it. As you can see, I'm really dialed in on what
you're
doing.
I've watched the show. It is. It's.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats to them.
Okay. So, oh boy. All right. So he praises kind of, because it's he undercuts it, right? About all the success that Monken has had, right? And he's like, okay, you did have an MVP quarterback. He's kind of writing it off a little bit, what have you, as an offensive coordinator. And again, I think that you can be skeptical because just like any coordinator that's hired into a head coaching job, you don't know about the job that they're going to do, right? So that's valid. You don't.
Sure.
And we have talked about, I'm going to use Joe Burrow, right? I'm going to stay within the division. We talk about Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor, right? And I've given Zach Taylor a bunch of crap even since the Super Bowl run that they had. I still am like, man, I think Joe Burrow deserves a better coach, right? Or like, I think Joe Burrow deserves something different. And I think we have talked about that with really good quarterbacks and being like, man, I think that it would be awesome to see them paired with this like coach. I have never, though, heard one, you should not listen to said coach. Like even when, dude, the McCarthy era here in Green Bay, when it seemed like that relationship was like, oh, they were just Aaron Rodgers, just go out and do things. You know, you're not going to get a running back. You know, you're not going to get a defense. Here you go. You have the keys to the car. That's the very famous quote from Ryan Grant that McCarthy basically wasn't even a coach anymore. He just let Aaron Rodgers run that offense.
Yeah.
But to also do it for Shedeur Sanders, a young player who's barely played in the league, there's already so much being talked about him. There's already so opinions that are formed.
Yeah.
And I know he's a Pro Bowl quarterback now, but man, like what reality are we basing that take in to go, yeah, that second year player who didn't even have an elite year shouldn't listen to an incoming head coach.
An offensive guy too, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where
it's so disingenuous.
Is that Deion Sanders like talking through him and being like, here's a talking point that I'm going to pay? Because like that's the only rationale of like, are we just hyping up Shedeur Sanders? Don't listen. What are we doing?
No, it's disingenuous to Todd Monken. Todd's had enough success as an offensive play caller where you go, you know what? I don't know if this is the right fit in terms of a head coach to keep the Browns, you know, or to pull them out of the depths of the sinking ship that they're on.
Absolutely.
But I think if you're wanting to look at what the upside is, it's that I think Todd Monken has the right personality to coach up Shedeur Sanders. I'm not even saying Shedeur's going to work as an NFL quarterback.
No idea.
But I think based on what he's done, who he's done it with, that you go, you know what? That's a fresh start for Shedeur.
Sure.
Dylan Gabriel as well, who I think like, yeah, he was very underwhelming, but maybe one of those guys can be better because of Todd Monken being there. And then I also think like having the audacity to tell somebody, and I'm not saying Shedeur's going to listen to him, but like to tell like these young players to not listen to like every former player's like, this is the worst advice I've ever heard. Ignore this and move on with your days.
And here's the thing, Brandon, we know plenty of people in this space, right, that just say anything, right? Because it's just, all right, this is going to get clicks. And it did, right? 11 million people watched that clip. 1,000 people liked it. 11 million people at least saw it. And, you know,
and I liked it just so it was in my timeline so I could show it. And I just unliked it to make sure I didn't give credit to it.
Yeah, I just don't. My hope is that it's just said to get clicks.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
That's the best case scenario because it's.
I think he was just talking and he didn't think through what he was actually saying.
It's just dumb.
I relate to that, but like,
yeah, I don't know because like here's the thing. So this is not the only controversy going on with the Cleveland Browns, even with the coach, right? Because so Todd Monken winds up getting hired. You did a whole video about this one, yeah?
We were a lot of it is about how they leaned in, like this is an organization who leans into like their data and analytics to make a lot of decisions. So it was about that. And then it feels like Jimmy Haslam like has everybody do that, and then he kind of just does whatever the fuck he wants anyway. Probably made everything we said kind of irrelevant when you got an unpredictable owner, but
sure.
Todd wants to be there. And I don't think very many people actually did. So I think that is a positive thing.
I think that's
and that was the story. Statement. Like all these coaches kept pulling out from that job because it's not appealing and they didn't want to take on that responsibility. Plus, there's this narrative that the Browns were pushing for Jim Schwartz to be kept on as defensive coordinator with these candidates.
Yes.
Jim Schwartz, I think, was under the impression he had a very good chance to be the head coach.
Correct.
And he actually wasn't willing to stay on as defensive coordinator. But for whatever reason, they believed he would stay on as defensive coordinator if they hired Todd. And they were completely wrong about that. And so now the guy that the defense really liked playing for, you had a guy that the defense rallied around is gone. And you got Myles Garrett posting shit like, what the fuck are we doing? It was like I forget what fucking meme he used, but like you alienate half of your team by doing that. I'm not saying Todd can't win their trust and earn their respect, but they did all these things in their hiring process that seemed to work against them. But I feel good about it today because this happened.
What's going in at? Oh, yeah.
Hey, young man.
How you doing? Welcome back to the States.
How we doing, man? Good. Yeah, we tried to draft your ass last year. It's all worked out.
Yeah.
You remember that, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to tell you.
Someday we'll get a chance to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, sit down.
Hey,
I like Todd Monken.
Hey.
He is very likable. Will he be a good head coach for Cleveland? Chances are no, because I'm not sure there's anybody who can do that at this moment in time. They had a 2-time head coach of the year. Didn't work out. But that's his first interaction with Shedeur. I like it. And they did. The Ravens were the team that tried to draft him, and Shedeur said, no, thank you. I want to go where I can start. Well, maybe.
Listen, the guy has a ton of experience, right? And I do think that you hit the nail on the head of hey, man, I don't know how many people we're going to go. And let me put it this way. We talked about 2 squads, right? We talked about the Cleveland Browns and the Arizona Cardinals of I don't know, candidate.
Yeah.
The Arizona Cardinals are talking about Ron Rivera, right? That's where it's a choice. I like Ron. It's a choice. And with Cleveland, the Jim Schwartz thing, because it is after the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars, Udinski, dropped out, right? So he pulled out. He's going to stay with Jacksonville because he's getting a whole bunch of money. And the thought was Schwartz was okay, well, after this last guy pulled out, I'm going to be the head coach now, right? I'm going to be favored to do so. So when he didn't get that head coaching job, which we could talk about, is that the Cleveland Browns fault? Is that Jim Schwartz fault? I don't know, because I don't think we're ever going to know that information about what was communicated between one another. But now it just feels okay, you get in a Todd Monken who you feel okay, maybe, we don't know. And it's with an org that they got issues. But now you have a defensive problem too. And Schwartz is still under contract with them, right?
Yeah.
So that's where this gets a little bit.
Yeah, because he's not
I don't want to be your
out
coordinator anymore, but he's gonna have to leave out for top out of the contract.